In Alabama, and really all over the country, it's not just Alabama. There's a lot of reservoirs that have dynamics populations of spotted bass and largemouth. And knowing the variables of when to choose which can be the difference in having an effective tournament and not. We'll start off, I typically call anything under 48 degrees kind of that early pre-spawn deal where they're actually staging up. And as a general rule, unless I've got conditions going into it that are some kind of frontal deal, I'm gonna choose spotted bass every time. They're a hardier fish, they like colder water temperatures, and for whatever reason, they're just a lot more dependable. You know, if you're fishing a body of water that is current related, they're really dependable, as long as, you know, the power company generates the water for you. You know, there's one general rule of fishing, especially if you're fishing rivers around here. There's two conditions that do not go together, and you avoid these at all costs. Cold water and mud don't go together. So if you're faced with a situation, you got an upcoming event, and you know we've had a big rain, and water temperature's 46, 47 degrees, at all costs, find clean water and key on spotted bass. You know, after we transition out of that 48 degree deal and we get on up into that 48, 52 is when it gets real tricky. The largemouth tend to get active around 48 degrees, get pretty dependable at 48. But, you know, fishing these rivers, one of the big problems of fishing with largemouth is they're real temperamental to water level. So you can go on one day, the lake's 6 inches high and largemouth are crawled up there doing their deal and everybody's happy, and you go back the next day and they've changed the flow and the largemouth are gone. That 48 to 52, you're gonna have to really pay attention to water flows, water level, pre-frontal conditions, post-frontal conditions. It's my simple rule is post-frontal, cold fronts, cooler water, spotted bass. Pre-front, warming conditions, warm rain coming in, is largemouth. Spotted bass are a smaller species of fish. In Alabama, we got 3 to 5 pounders, pretty common. Some parts of the country, you can get up where Mark's from, up in the Ozarks, and there's a dynamic population of spotted bass up there, and you can effectively win tournaments. But they don't have quite the size. But here, the spotted bass can compete with a largemouth. But as a general rule, if the largemouth bite, you can't win. So try to use those conditions to help you make a better decisions on what you want to do. Let's go into where we can find them. Spotted, that's the spotted bass?
Yeah. That was the degrees, and that was the next one. What were you looking for?
There we go. Some of the characteristics of spotted bass, they generally tend to love rock, gravel, clay. They're more of a bait-driven fish. They orient more. They do eat crawfish. They do eat bluegill. They do eat everything in the food chain, but they love bait fish, whether it's shad, whatever's present. And typically in the spring, this pre-spawn deal, what we'll start off with is on these river systems. They all up and down the Coosa River, Black Warrior, all in the state of Alabama. Most of these rivers have bluffs present in the outside bends of the river, and all up and down along the river. These fish are normally winter around those bluffy areas or steeper sided pockets, anything that's protected. And as they transition, they'll kind of suspend out and live in those areas, and then as they start warming into that pre-spawn deal, they'll get out on the ends of those swings toward the bluff ends, what we call transition banks, 45s. What I like to see them do, and most of the time they do, is they'll go from big bluff type rock to what I call basketball size rock or softball size rock. They'll set up on that transition area there, and then as they go on into the spring and into the spawn, they'll go from the basketball size 45 rock to more pea gravel. And in Alabama, one of the big things is red clay. How many of y'all fish around here? red clay banks, red clay points in the next 4 to 6 weeks are going to be absolute pure poison.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.